Hello and welcome. In this tutorial, we are going to have a look at upgrading the authentication program to accept, first of all, unlimited usernames and passwords. Second, to ask the user again if the user got the wrong password or the wrong username, to try again, to try again, to try again. But finally, also to add a time delay to make the system more resistant to hacking, because if you're able to keep trying different passwords thousands of times a second, which a bot can do, then we have a real problem. Okay, so let's start at the first issue, upgrading the program to accept unlimited usernames and passwords. Well, we can use, instead of this long list of variables, we can use one single variable. And we can use a dictionary. And I'm thinking of what we can call it, because it's going to have usernames and passwords. If we call it user passwords, and we make that a dictionary, we can simply enter a username followed by a password. Done. That would be one. Then you can add as many as you want. So you can literally copy this and change what's next. So this can be Bob. It can be, I don't know, AAA. That could be Alice. That could be YOLO. That could be Anna. That could be Block. I don't know. Funny name for a password. I don't think we need the last comma, but there you go. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 different username password combinations. By the way, Python allows you to do this. You could have added a fifth one, and we can try with, I don't know, Dozer. Character from the Matrix. I think he's born in Zion. There you go. These should all work. So you can basically hit enter after any comma, and Python accepts that formatting. So we have now a list of user passwords, and we want all of these usernames to be valid. So we want to go inside this line and have a think about how we can essentially accept all of these usernames. And the easiest way to do it is to just say if in name, in user passwords. That ought to do it. Now, we've lost password and password 2, and we've lost the username. So when I run this, we're going to get into some errors. But basically, the only thing I need to know is if Sanjin is going to get me past the first stage. So it doesn't matter what I enter here. Even if it's the correct password, I'm going to have some kind of error that a variable doesn't exist. But that's good. That's good. So right now we need to figure out a way to check the password for Sanjin. And this is the beauty. If you go into user passwords, square brackets, Sanjin, that's actually referencing the value of the dictionary. That's referencing 1, 2, 3. And this is one line of code instead of all of these if, elif. Just to show you, we can rewrite that if statement from scratch. So here we go. The password has just been entered, and now we can say if in password, no, oops, in password, if that is equal to user passwords, square brackets of the in name. And that's it. Because if the in name was Sanjin or Bob or Alice, it's going to check the password for Sanjin, or it's going to check the password for Bob. So it's only this password is going to work for Sanjin, only that password is going to work for Bob, only YOLO password is going to work for Alice. So then we can print access granted. So that should be it for the infinitely expandable list of usernames and passwords. Username, we're just going to go for Alice and YOLO. Done. Beautiful. So now that that works, we can go back to learning intentions and go, aha, again, if the username or password is wrong. So, problem with this program is if the username was Tom, that's not a valid username, program exits. We want it to prompt again and again and again. And this is where we use a while loop. A while loop just keeps running while a condition is true. So we can have access granted as that condition. So to show you what I mean, we're going to create a Boolean variable, access granted equals to false. And we're going to keep this thing running. Nope, wrong. Access granted. While access granted, actually this would work, but double equals to false. While this condition is false, keep the loop running. At the moment, this loop is going to run forever, which is not what we want. So if I'll just kind of show you. Let's pick Dozer and Zion, and then just asking for username again. So what we want is to basically exit out of the loop if we've reached access granted. So instead of reaching access granted, we can just go, aha, access granted equals to true. So now that's going to exit the loop, essentially. It will still complete that if statement, but we can have that access granted now outside the loop, because as long as either the username or password is wrong, they're going to keep recycling it this way. So let's have a look at this now. Dozer, Zion, access granted, program done. So let's see what happens if we get the username correct and the password wrong. It goes back to and asking you to enter the username. And we can change this so that it asks for the password rather than the username. So I guess the easiest way to do that would just be to have another while loop. So let's go back here. And this is the part where we have basically approved the username as correct. So here we can create good password equals to false. So that's another Boolean variable. And we can say while good password equals to false. While that's going on, we can keep making this inquiry. And I guess when access granted becomes true, I guess we can make the good password equal to true as well. So right in here, that should really do it. So let's get the correct username and wrong password. Ooh, yeah, shell restart. Okay, a very teachable moment here. I think I know what's going on. Essentially, when this is false, you're not entering any more new passwords. I mean, the good password, it happened above the while loop, so it's just forever printing that's not a valid password. And all I needed to do was just include this part where we're asking for the password inside the place where, so now we're asking for password inside the while loop. Now also, the good password needs to be false and it needs to happen before the while loop. So I think it's going to work now. Just to reiterate, this prompt for a password, you didn't have another chance to type it. Once it was typed, it was it. That was the only password. It was always wrong, and it was always printing this. Now, after it's wrong, you will go back to the beginning of the loop, and it'll ask you for your password again. So let's try that one more time. What's going on? In password needs to be indented. Sure. Okay. Sign in. And now, wrong. And I don't remember what it was. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Access granted. That is a beauty. So, perhaps now is a good excuse to introduce you to a new module in Python called time. And we're only going to use one function inside time. And we're going to use it for a very, very real-world purpose. Most systems have a purposeful delay of 1 to, 4 or 5 seconds before they allow you to access a database. Because this may allow a hacker to get a bot to try literally millions of username password combinations. And, given enough time, they'll break through the system. But if they have to wait 2 seconds before entering, that's going to make it a lot harder for hackers. So, we're going to import time, and before allowing people in, or perhaps right after they've entered their password, we can hear whether they're right or wrong. We can hear print waiting. I'll make it pretty. So this is time dot sleep. So it basically here it does nothing for 1 second. If you choose 1, it'll do nothing for 1 second. And I think this is a cool graphic. I'll show you what I mean. Print waiting. So the next one's going to have 2 dots. Maybe like, and the last one's going to have 3. And so we can do that whether access was granted or whether access was denied. So let's try that out. Sanjin. Ha! Cool. Now I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a challenge. How do you make the dots appear on the same line? Okay, you try doing that, and I shall see you in the next tutorial. Hello there. Good to see you watching these things all the way to the end. Make sure you don't miss any of them, so the subscribe button is going to be bang there. The playlist for Python Fundamentals, the series you're right now watching, right there. And a whole host of other different Python videos you may want to check out over here. Happy viewing. See you later.